Welcome to the Beyond the Diagnosis podcast with me, your host, Dr. Kylie. I have a very well trained, in fact, 39 years running. Dr. Faria has been inside the functional medicine world, and he's a cellular healing strategist. Actually, I should call you investigator, because that's what you are. And he helps people of all backgrounds heal by finding the root cause. So, Dr. Faria, welcome on.
Hi, Dr. Kylie. It's wonderful to be on with you. Certainly to be with you. You're an esteemed colleague, and I respect everything that you do. So I'm glad to share with you today.
Yeah, I can't wait to share with your audience, my audience, what you do. You're in Florida. However, you have patients all over the country. So if you guys are interested, go to healthecells.com or you can call his office at 407-862-2287. We'll have the details in the show notes below. But there's some information for you in Orlando, just in the outskirts of Orlando, Florida. And we're going to talk about the cells. So, Dr. Faria, why should we even care about the cells?
Well, when you think about it, I tell my patients this all the time, there are 30 trillion cells in your body, and your body's making new cells all the time. And so a lot of times when we look at a health problem, you want to put a name on something, let's reverse engineer it. And so every organ system, the heart, the lungs, the kidneys, your digestive system, no matter what it is, what is it made of? Cells. And inside every cells, there's the cell membranes. And then inside every cells, there's the mitochondria, which generates ATP energy. And inside your cells, you make one of your major antioxidants called glutathione. And so when things dysfunction, there's inflammation. I call it chronic cellular inflammation. It happens at the membrane level, the lipid bilayer. And that's going to affect what we call the receptors. It's going to affect how the cellular fluidity, how good things get in, and when metabolism happens, how waste products go out. And so when cells don't function correctly, then they don't go through the proper life cycle. Then sometimes they don't die correctly. They don't go through apoptosis correctly. And then you're going to have cells that make up a sick organ, and a sick organ is going to make a sick system, and a sick system is going to make a sick body. And then before you know it, it's going to, what I call the bucket theory of disease. It's when your bucket overflows, and then you're prompted to call a doctor because now your bucket's overflowing. You have all these symptoms. And in the allopathic world, that's where they begin treating this for that, either with a drug or sometimes even in functional medicine, take this supplement for that, instead of finding a strategy that gets to the root cause of what your bucket load is. If that makes sense.
I love how you said, even in functional medicine, it can still happen with supplements. It's like, well, doc, I think I have a thyroid problem. Okay, well, let's just try this supplement. It's like, really? We're not any better if we're doing that.
Yeah. It's like going to the health food store and meeting the person and says, what do you got for thyroid? I just came from the doctor. I have hypothyroid, or I have Hashimoto's, or I have a GI problem. Oh, follow me. We're just going to go right down the aisle, and I have all this stuff for you to take. And, oh, you have high blood pressure? I have this. And before you know it, I have patients coming in, who are really, they're really dedicated to helping themselves, but, they got a bag load of supplements, and some of them good quality, some of them not very good quality. And before you know it, nothing's happening. And it's a miracle they're even still trying. You really need a coach, just like in basketball. I played sports, or just like in anything that you did. You need somebody to take a look from the outside in and see what you're doing. Anything can cause anything, and it's never just one thing. And everyone's looking for the one thing, and it's not just one thing. It's toxins, it's hidden infections, it's GI problem, it's emotional, it's spiritual. It's a combination of all these things. And when that snaps, then all of a sudden you're going to have those symptoms, and you have chronic degenerative disease. And a lot of times your allopathic doctor is saying, well, you don't have a real diagnosis. You don't have cancer. You don't have this. You don't have that. So, here's something to help you sleep. Here's something to make you feel better. Here's something to wake you up. Here's something to make you go. Here's something to stop you from going. It's like whatever it is. And so it's functional medicine is really getting those cells, at least my point of view, the cells functioning at a level so that they're working in synergy throughout the whole body, through every system of the body, and then allowing time. And it's a team approach. Like in my office, I says, now together, everyone's going to achieve more, not just me. It's together. We're going to work this together. I'm going to give you the marching orders, and you're going to go out and you're going to do this, and we're going to celebrate your wins as we go along the way. That's how I look at it.
I love it. Let's get into the cells because I like remember back in high school biology, we're making our little foam ball of the cell, and there's one Golgi apparatus and one mitochondria and one nucleus, and there's just one of everything. But I know that's not accurate. So let's deep dive into
No,
the cell structure, and how that plays a role.
well, let's keep it, for the most part, the KISS principle, keep it simple and smart. I don't like keep it simple, stupid. Always keep it simple and smart. But the cells are, we're learning new things about the cells all the time, and really how the cells function and how the cells communicate with each other. And you're right. There is, some say the intelligence of the cell is not even in the nucleus, in the DNA. It's in the cell membrane itself. That's where the intelligence is. In fact, if you were to strip the cell membrane, the lipid bilayer, the cell would actually die. It would actually just die. And so and what's in those cell membrane is cholesterol. What's cholesterol? Is it a bad person? No, the last time I looked, it's not. These lipids, cholesterol is a hormone, and it's a hormone that converts into other hormones. And so all these lipids that are inside the cell membrane are critical, and they need to be nourished with essential fatty acids and the proper nutrients. And then, like we said, mitochondria, is there's just one mitochondria? No, there's multitudes of mitochondrial dysfunction. In fact, some say all disease starts at the mitochondrial level. And when the cells can't get enough oxygen or reaches a threshold, the oxygen goes into a stupid mode and stops burning, starts not functioning correctly, and that could lead to cancerous cells. And so inside the cells, and then there's the DNA, which is what we inherited from your mom, your dad, and there are things called epigenetics. That means you're not doomed to your genetics. You are basically, there's triggers, whether it be toxins, inflammation, or other things that can turn on certain things that you inherited from mom or dad or both. You're not doomed. Like if you have a breast cancer gene, you're not doomed to get that breast cancer gene. But there are triggers that could turn that on. And so same thing with nutrigenomics and nutrition, your ability to absorb vitamin D, your ability to use fats, your ability to use B12 folic acid or convert it into its active form is going to be determined by your genetics and certain genetic variants. I don't like to call them defects. They're variants. And I don't even believe you can even give nutrition based on just your genetics, because you have to know what are the triggers that are turning it on. Some people, they get a SNP or they learn something about their genetics and they think, well, this is the route, just looking at my 23andMe, and it isn't. You have to look at the total picture of what's going on. So the cells are very important. And the gut is another. What are they made up of? All systems, cells, right? What is the lining of the gut? The microvilli is made up of cells. And so what's happening there? What's causing leaky gut? What's causing things to digestion not to occur correctly? So it's a fascinating thing. 30 trillion cells, but then at the same time, I got to throw in there's 30 trillion organisms that live in our body. That's the microbiome, all the skin microbiome, the gut microbiome, the microbiome in your mouth. 30 trillion. Isn't it funny, Dr. Kylie, the last few years we're worried about a virus? And I go, well, how about the million viruses you got living in your body? And I said, there's 70 to 80% of your immune system's in the gut. And so there's and the neurotransmitters, you ever heard that saying, I got a gut feeling? Well, that's true. The serotonin, 90% of your nerves are made in the gut, and they affect your brain and how you feel and how you think. And so it's complex, but at the same time, when you look,
Don't get me started.
it's complex, but when you look at the crime scene, you don't want to leave any stone unturned because you never know, one clue could be the master clue that's going to lead. And so I think that's what I pride myself in, is when somebody's looking, they're not thinking about that. Well, I don't have any gut problems. I'm just depressed and I have anxiety, panic attacks. But everything's going good down there. And yeah, how many times have I checked that and looked into that? And I said, well, gut is your major problem. And they go, I don't understand that. And so it's just looking at everything and how our bodies deal with not just emotional stress, but physiological stress. We have 86,000 different toxins out there in the world and growing. It's just toxins everywhere. You can't even test for them all. There's not even the perfect test. So, as you know, how many people have blood work and they go to the doctor, they get their blood test, they, typical CBC, metabolic panel, lipid panel, maybe a TSH and all that. And everything's perfect. No, nothing's perfect because you feel like crap, right? And then you say something like, well, your eosinophils are about 8%. Well, what does that mean? And I go, well, that means you probably have a parasitic or some kind of bowel dysbiosis or something going on. But it says normal in my LabCorp request. And so, we look at things from a functional perspective. The lab ratios are what, of sick and healthy people? And so in functional medicine, when we look at things, we're looking at a closer knit ranges. And then we can get the specialty testing, whether it be GI stool testing or organic acids testing, looking at the cellular function, and there's so many cool things to look at, and then put all those pieces together. And then with the physical exam, if you're in the office, we can even see things physically, or sometimes online, I can see, oh, you have dark circles on your eye, you're toxic, or just looking at the history. God, how many times we just don't forget to look at the history. How long have you had something? Where have you lived? What have you been exposed to? Or how many are you incurring drug interactions? God, half of the symptoms you got are because of the drugs you're on. They're just interacting with each other. And so our job is to help people, their bodies heal its state. Your body was given the innate intelligence. God give it. God gave you this intelligence for the body to heal. Now we're finite. We're not going to live forever. But I'm 66 years old. I don't take any drugs. I do CrossFit. I live this lifestyle. And I believe you should live to be 120. Literally, we've got the potential to be cognitive and alert and functional, remember who we were, what we did, look at our children's children, and be 80 and 90 and functional. But how many times?
Right. And why we shouldn't be worried about the 80. We should live to 120.
Yeah, I was talking about that. I'm 66 years old and still practicing, not on any medications. I do CrossFit workouts. I still play sports. I wouldn't ask my patients to do anything I wouldn't do. And I feel just as good as I did today as last 20, 30 years. And I think that is because of proper lifestyle, proper physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and knowing what to do, doing proper testing, and dealing with the optimal, I said, increasing your health span. And so that's, everyone should have that, because nobody wants to reach 85 and have Alzheimer's and not remember who they were and what they did. And so many things are preventable. I mean, a lot of times we do blood work, it's like, do you realize you're pre-diabetic? And they go, oh. I said, yeah, your A1C is 5.75. Oh, my doctor said, just watch that. And, well, why watch it when we can do something right now? Because how many times, oh, we've been watching it for a couple of years. Now their A1C is 6.8 or 7.0, and they're full-blown diabetic. And all those things were totally preventable. Or somebody is on a statin drug, and, it's like, your total cholesterol is 120. Why are you on a statin drug? I don't know. My cardiologist says I can't get it too low. Well, at 120, you must feel like crap as a man, because you can't make testosterone. You can't be functioning correctly. In fact, if your total cholesterol is 120 and you weren't taking a statin drug, I would think you might have a serious disease, some kind of immune disease. And so, and they tell you to take ubiquinol or coenzyme Q10. that, you know? And I said, so it's like, so I don't put patients on these medications. I don't take them off, but we certainly want to put the body in the position so that either the medicine you're taking is working better, functioning better, so that the prescribing doctor will realize, well, that TSH now is less than 1. Maybe we should adjust the Synthroid. Maybe we should take you off the Synthroid. And so it's really exciting to see patients the last 3 years realize that maybe everything we've been told is not the truth about what's going on out there. And that, yeah, and so maybe there's a little bit distrust and people looking, Dr. Kylie, for physicians like us to take another look at their health and start. I have a saying, if you treat your health today, treat your health, we won't have to treat your diseases tomorrow. And I always say, if you look at that box, the standard of care, I'm not in that. I'm the doc out of the box. I am the doc box. And I'm not saying the other docs are bad. I'm just saying I'm different. And if we treat your health today, you won't need those docs. They're there for emergencies. They're there for catastrophes. They're there, but we function out of the box. And the greatest wealth you could possibly have is to invest in your health. Because without your health, you can't be the best mom, dad, grandpa. You can't be the best person in your job everywhere and that you can be. God made you. Your body is a temple of the spirit God created you for, and you should carry it and treat it well and optimize its function, because you're here for a purpose. Every single human being in this world is here for a reason, and don't make that reason be short, because somebody needs you, whether one person or thousands of people need you because of a gift that you have. So I look at it that way. And people are going to gravitate toward us because they're looking for honesty and they're looking for an honest approach. Hey, yeah, I know that it's not just in a pill. It's not just in a pill and, take this for 10 days and you'll be well. You took 30 years to get this way or took time to get this way, right? And so we can figure out why your hormones aren't working correctly. It's not about taking more hormones. It's about getting the hormones you have to actually work. Getting the plug into the cell receptor, so to speak. And then the cells have faces and they're all happy working together. So I had a message today is you need to connect. Everyone has a certain, you have your dentist, and even that is a whole nother story, having the right dental work, because a lot of things happen in the mouth and having all those, but you should have a functional oriented physician practitioner on your side, and on your health team. So if you're struggling, if you're if you're wondering, don't hesitate. Find someone that does like what me and you do, and begin to work with them and take personal responsibility for your health. And it's the best investment you could possibly do. And once you help yourself, reach out to each one, help someone else. And when we have a healthier nation, we have a healthier cities and healthier nation, healthier states, a healthier world, so to speak. And it all starts within our own circles, so to speak. So if I had any wisdom to offer anybody is be the best you can be, by being the healthiest person you can be.
By being healthy, you treat everybody around you better. So you
Yes.
improve your relationships too. So just do it.
Yeah, right. Don't just, you could just begin to wake up and good look in the mirror and say, am I really taking care of myself the way I should be? Some people take better care of their cars, better care of their things than they do their body. And, you can't take those things with you, or flip a moment in time, and you should optimize that time. And there are people that are counting on you and who love you, and you need to love yourself and take care of yourself.
Well, Doc, it's been great talking to you. Remember, guys, you can go join him on healthecells.com, or you can call his office at 407-862-2287. He works with anybody all over the country, though his home base is New Orlando, Florida. So thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your genius words of wisdom from 39 years of experience in functional medicine.
All right. Take care, Kylie. All right. Keep up the great work. God bless.
The health coaching certification program that I recommend is Functional Diagnostic Nutrition, or FDN. You can get started anytime. So grab the $250 off code from the show notes and go to fdntraining.com/Dr. Kylie and get started. Don't wait any longer. Make 2023 your year. Do this for you, your family, and for those you're about to help. fdntraining.com/Dr. Kylie. Ready to have all of your blood work compiled in one location where you can easily read it all together? Well, go grab my book, Why Are My Labs Normal, on Amazon. Grab it, learn how to read your own labs, and take the power back in your hands, because your normal blood work is loaded with answers. You just got to have the right person reading it, and the right person can be you. Go grab it on Amazon, Why Are My Labs Normal by Dr. Kylie Burton. Leave a review, and we'll see you on the next episode.